Hey there, welcome. You're at the Thrifty Journal shop. My name is Amber. If you are new here, hello. So happy you stopped by today. And for all of you awesome people that keep coming back, you guys are cool. So today I just thought we would do something funky and fun and make a art journal. I am going to show you how I made my latest art journal. Now, we're not going to do exactly what I did here, but I'm going to show you how I got this look. Isn't he adorable? If you guys know me, you know I love animals, I love whimsical, and I really love bears. Bears are probably one of my favorite. Here's one of my bloppy birds. And then I just took some magazine pages and added them. I wanted it to be very colorful. Here's just a wonky flower I drew. I drew a little bumblebee and then just added some magazine pages. So I made this journal because I'm going to be taking a trip and I wanted an art journal. I wanted a sketchbook that was small enough to travel with. I didn't want to take anything too big and bulky. So I've got these old cookbooks. And what I've been doing is I've been pulling pages from them to use in junk journals, art journals, either when I make journals to sell them or just for my own personal use. So I guess you could call this like an altered book. However, I've not like strategically pulled these papers out. I know there's a way that you can do that. I know I've watched videos in the past, but I wouldn't know how to tell you how to do it. So maybe at some point I could walk you through that process, but right now I'm just taking books that I've already pulled pages from, and so they're sort of wonky. This was a Southern Living cookbook, and I think I counted the pages, and there's like 30 pages in here. So, it's just sort of wonky. In fact, the middle here, I pulled so many that I just put my colored masking tape just to kind of secure the spine. Because this book was very dark, it was yellow and brown, I took gesso and put a base of gesso and white paint, and then I let that dry. Then I drew my bear. I drew everything over the white because it was completely white with a pencil. And then I just went through and added a bunch of different colors. I used my blotter. Then when everything was dry, I wanted to seal it. And so I used Mod Podge because it's what I had, the gloss Mod Podge. And I think it sealed it pretty good. I tried to see if I could scrape off the paint. So this is a little bit of a template, or I can't think of the word today, but just like a trial run to see how these would turn out if I decided that somebody was interested in me painting them one. However, this is a more of an extensive thing, so I don't know how often I would do these just because of the time and everything like that. I wanted to show you how you can make one just by using some paints, and maybe you're not a drawer and you just want to have fun and jazz up an old book that you want to turn into an art journal or a sketchbook. Now, this is going to be more so like sketchbook for me. So recently I've talked about how I've really been into drawing. I've always been a drawer, a self-taught drawer. I've been watching lots of other people sketch. And one of the really cool things I love about art journaling or sketching or junk journaling is just using other books. Like, I've got mixed media paper, I've got watercolor paper, but sometimes white paper is just like, it's too much. And the idea of drawing on something else and seeing the letters is just kind of really cool for me. And so I have been experimenting and playing around with drawing faces. It's something I want to get better at. So I've got some people that I've been following and I really like their style. And so this is just playing around. And actually, I didn't use an eraser. So I've just been taking my pencil or even like a Sharpie and just drawing and going with it. So it kind of teaches me two things. One, that there are really no mistakes, or if you don't like something, then you just sort of have to work with it. And also, it's almost freeing not to have an eraser, because when you spend time erasing, you're really trying to, in your mind, get something that's perfect, when I am far from perfect and I don't strive to be perfect. That's why I like art that's not realistic. I like abstract, I like whimsical. When I look at something, I don't want it to look exactly like a person. My eyes are never going to be the same. Things aren't going to line up. But to get a basic face, it is about, basic shapes, like I've talked before. And I'll get into that in a different video. But this is just a place for me to sketch. I've got some ideas for taking some magazines and going over them and tracing them and doing other things. And I'll get into that in a different video. That's a way to help you get an idea of where noses, eyes, and lips are. So I did put a pocket back here because I like to tuck things in. Here's just some more cutouts that I might add. So this lady, she's just very crazy. I was playing around with different shading and using different textures, pens and markers and crazy eyelashes. And then I added some book pages, but I really love how she turned out. I drew some crazy flowers in her hair. So this is my sketchbook, and this is what I'm going to take on my trip, along with my pencils and my markers, and just call it good. I'm going to take a really small travel pack. So I just thought I would share that with you. I really loved how this turned out. And I thought I would turn this one into one with you today, because I know I'll probably go through this pretty fast. So I bought this book because I liked the hole here. It had a little cute kid, and some of these pages reminded me of like vintage cookbooks. I used some of these pages in my recent fabric scrap journals. I loved the little kids, and they had some drawings and pictures of some ladies that looked like retro-y, kind of vintage. And this paper is really thick. So I thought I would just take you along with the process of what I did. Now, because this book is white, I'm not going to do the whole gesso thing, and I'm using this for myself. So I am just going to add a bunch of different kinds of paint, blob it out. I'll seal it with Mod Podge, and then I've got an idea for the cutout here. So I just thought I would share how you can just, take an old book and jazz it up. Now, some of these paints that I'm going to use, they're not the best. Like, some of these are more runny than others, but what I did was I just added the paint and I just dabbed it. And the reason why I said I liked to dab it is because I like that look, and I wasn't crazy with the brush look. So I am just going to add a bunch of colors here and go with it. Oops. I might have to get a different one. This one might be on its last leg here. I'm gonna try not to shake the table, so maybe I'll lift it up. So I'm just blotting it. The Mod Podge is great. I like the idea of the Mod Podge to seal it. It did sort of give it that shiny look. I know Carla over at Carla Frizzell, she does a lot of painted journals, like the craft text journals that she does. And lately she had these beautiful ones where she hand painted flowers. She said she uses a varnish to seal. So maybe when my Mod Podge is all gone, I'll try a varnish if I decide to create some of these and put them in my Etsy shop. Yeah, see, this is from the Dollar General, which is like the Dollar Tree, and it's very watered down. Yeah. Paints are tricky. I'm going to grab some of my other Hobby Lobby paints that I totally forgot about. I totally forgot about these paints that I had because I had them in a different location. These guys these are really inexpensive. They're $5, tempera paint, and I got these at Hobby Lobby. And for the size, because there's 16 ounces, I think that is like a great deal. They are shimmery, but I really do like them. Now, I might have gotten too much paint on here. That's okay. I've got a way around that. I'll blot it off on some paper that I will reuse. This is going to take probably a while to dry. I might do some collage with this. Might add some book pages to it. We'll see. Might do a little bit of layering with this. Now, sometimes it's best to let some of this dry before you add on a bunch of different colors. Whoa, well, I kind of liked how that just splitted out, just so you don't get a muddy mess. I'm not really following that rule because I'm just trying to get the paint down here. And I'm okay if I can see some of this spine here with the red. This looks like a fabric sort of spine here. I'm okay with that. When I did this spine, I did have to use my paintbrush, but I wasn't worried about every little increment being just precise. And you can always do 1 to 2 coats if you need to. I love this bright yellow. Let's add a little yellow. I wanted a little bit of this turquoise blue. Whoa. I wanted a little. It's okay. And then I really like that look that it gives it. Now, this will take a little longer to dry. It almost looks like it gives it like that textured look. I like that. So I'm going to let this all dry, and then I will be back and we'll see if I'm going to add anything to it or if I'm just going to leave it. I do have an image that I picked out for the inside here, and I'll add that. I'll show you how I do that. And then we'll see if we need to jazz up the spine at all. But right now we just need to let everything dry. I'm going to add a little bit of chalk paint here before I let this dry. This is old. It's very thick. I wanted a little bit of white in here. Okay, that's not going to work. I'm going to grab my regular white. All right, I want to add a little white here just to lighten it up before I let it dry. Especially around the circle here, because I have an idea of what I want in there and I want that to sort of pop out and not blend in. Okay, I'm going to leave it. Sometimes I have a tendency to keep going and make a big mess. So we're going to leave it and I'll be back. It's mostly dry, but I'm going to add some elements on here. I did add some red because I'm going to use this little rose that I drew and I'm going to have this right there. So I wanted to just add a little red to make it pop a little bit, but I thought we would do some layering. I've got some vintage music paper that I thought I would add, and I've got some fabric. I love this fabric that I have. This is like some kind of rayon. It's pink fabric. I've got blue too. I found it years ago at a thrift store and I just love it. I just thought maybe I would glue that on. So I've got my Mod Podge. It's just the gloss. I like using Mod Podge. A lot of times you can get, I think I got this on sale and it was really maybe $8 and there's like 32 ounces. So I am just gonna put some on here. I like adding fabric to my collages and paint and papers, and then I just seal right over it. So fabrics are fun to add to collages. Just thought that is really pretty. Then I've got some music paper. And what I might do is then I will go back over the music paper sometimes with paint. And I just use the paintbrush, seal it down. Oh, this is going to be a fun sketchbook. I'm not really thinking. I am just no rhyme or reason. I'm just tearing paper, placing it down, adding different elements, different textures. Okay. And then, like I said, a lot of times I'll go back over when I add the paper just to blend it in. Okay. And we're going to have that. I know it's kind of hard to see here with the lighting and this backdrop, but I just thought that'll look really pretty. Let's see if I can find some more fabric. This is some of that same fabric. I thought I would just add some more of that. Oh, that's fun. I think what I'll do is I will use my heated dryer, a little heat tool, to dry this. Yeah, because it wasn't exactly dry when I started adding the Mod Podge, it's peeling up some of the paint, which I think right now I'm just going to go back and add a little more paint over these. Why not? We'll see what happens. This is just playing around. I love how you can see the music paper through there. Add a little more turquoise here. And then sometimes I'll just add more music paper over it or paper over it. all that texture. Got this last piece of fabric here. All right. I am going to, when everything is dry, I will go back through and seal it with the Mod Podge. Okay, so we added some texture and some paper and just some different elements and some fabric. I think that is so cool. I'm gonna let everything completely dry, and then I'm going to add this to the cover. I'll show you how I do that. Then we'll add some kind of backdrop to the cover and probably add a pocket because I love having pockets in my journals. Okay, everything is nice and dry. And I think I'm good with that. I just wanted to create a really quick art journal with you and just show you how you can, take an old book and throw some paint and scraps and fabric on there. I do want to put this sweet little rose flower that I drew right here. And then I already have some wallpaper, this really pretty wallpaper, and I just sewed some fabric, and I'm going to place that right here so I have a pocket. So I am just going to, I guess, take my glue stick, go around this with a glue stick here, just to place it down. That'll work, I think. Okay. Trim this off a bit here. Okay, see how that looks in the center there. That glue will dry. Not a huge fan of this purple glue, but these glue sticks are pretty cheap. I can get a bulk of them. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to glue this over here. I'm going to use my Mod Podge, I think, since I already have it out. Glue it on the back of this wallpaper here. All right. See how well that sticks down. Usually I would use my tacky glue for this, but I had the Mod Podge down. Add a little bit more here to the corners and the edges. All right. Okay. We have that sealed down. A lot of times in all of my journals, I like to have front and back pockets. But for this one, because it's going to be more so like a sketchbook, but I might add like magazine clip art and, trace around it and do things like that. I like to have a pocket just to keep things in. So I'm not quite sure. I think I counted maybe 20 pages in here. Like I said, I was using this randomly, pulling out signatures for other journals. So that is the back, just scraps and fabric and paint. And then that is what the front looks like. I just think it looks pretty sweet with the flower. You can still see the fabric here. So it's pretty raw and scrappy. And I might go back through and add some words to it. If I do, I'll do an update. I'm sure you'll see this soon anyway, because I plan on working in it after I finished this one. And like I said, I'm going to take this with me on my trip. And I have a feeling I'm going to do lots of sketching. We'll see. But at night, I've been doing sketching and in the mornings and stuff. So I plan on probably filling this one faster than I think. So I hope this gave you guys some inspiration. If you've got some old books, sitting around and you just want to play around with paints and make an art journal or a sketchbook, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for being here. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you really like my content. I'm really trying to grow my channel. I've noticed I've gotten some more subscribers lately, which is awesome. I so appreciate you guys. I hope you find some time to get outside today and enjoy some beautiful weather. And I hope you find some creative, colorful, fun time also. Thank you so much for watching.